Hello, it's your girl Kelly. As you can tell by the title, today I'm gonna be putting you guys on my makeup routine. It's gonna be more of a natural beat. Still a beat, but more of a natural glowy looking beat. So if you want to see that, keep on watching. Just bought this headband, Juicy Couture from TJ Maxx, and I love wearing these for my TikTok and Instagram get ready with me. But I wanted to switch it up for YouTube and wear one that I haven't worn yet. So y'all are getting a first look at this. Isn't this very cute? Okay, bestie, so I always start off with my brows, even before skincare, because sometimes the skincare can get in the way of your brows being laid. I've been loving this one by e.l.f. because it works amazing and it's very convenient. You get the brow gel part on one end, and then on the other end, you have the brush that I use to brush up my brows. And finally, use the comb part to get your desired shape. While that dries down, I get right into the skin prep, which is super important. You cannot skip this step. For daytime, make sure you're wearing your sunscreen, and for nighttime, I love using this CosRX Snail Mucin because it really hydrates your skin, and bonus points, it leaves your face feeling a tad bit grippy, which is going to be great for slapping makeup on top. Personally, I love this NYX Lift and Snatch brow pen to fill in my brows. The tip is super precise and helps me mimic those hair-like strokes. Plus, the pigment on these lasts longer than traditional brow pencils. I'm sure this won't work for everyone though, so you can opt for a brow pencil that also has a precise tip. Next, I do my primer trio, starting with my e.l.f. Power Grip Setting Spray. I shake it up, spray, and pat it into my skin. I used to use the actual Power Grip primer, however, this gets me almost the same results, but glowier and less tacky. Next is my Refined Primer. She is viral for a reason, baby. The rest of my makeup thrives whenever I use this underneath, and you can use it to sculpt your face at the same time. Thirdly, and you can skip this, especially if you have oily skin, I use this Fenty bronzing drops. This is so freaking good at making your base look glowy, hydrated, bronzed. It's just gonna peek beautifully underneath the rest of your makeup. Just give it at least 2 minutes and boom, your skin prep is completely done. What you're gonna wanna do is color correct and spot conceal. Color correct those areas with higher pigmentation, dark circle, redness. Personally, I also spot conceal my mouth shadow using this NARS pot concealer that I sampled because I was too broke to buy it. Make sure you're not blending that in. Just lightly tap it and blend out the edges around using that same NARS concealer, spot conceal your acne, scarring, and any other problem areas. Same thing, lightly tap it and blend around it. Now you apply your foundation. I am truly obsessed with this House Labs foundation. I mean, hello, it speaks for itself. And pro tip, make sure you're blending that into your neck as well. As you can see, I love using a brush and go over with a beauty blender for an even smoother base. Next, you're gonna take a flat brush. Don't judge the state of mine. She is very well loved. Use that brush and your foundation to carve out the top of your brow. Next, you're gonna take a concealer that is at least 2 to 3 shades lighter, and you're gonna use that to carve out the bottom of your brows. Please don't rush this. Take your time. This is also where you can fix any mistakes that you made while filling in your brows, whether that is adding more brow hairs or erasing them with the concealer. Once you're done, it'll look something like this. Then go ahead and set it with a loose powder, and boom, you're ready to move on to eyeshadow. I like this Juvia's Place Coffee Shop palette. It's a really good dupe for the viral Makeup by Mario palette. It's more affordable. It has every single neutral shade that you're gonna need. Plus, as you can see, it's super pigmented, so it's actually gonna show up on deeper skin tones. I'll be honest, I don't really know what I'm doing with eyeshadow just yet. But what I like to do is start with a deeper shade closer to my eyelid. Then I go in with the neutral shade and the white shade closer to my inner corners. It helps open up my eyes. Not that they need it, my eyes are huge. I also recommend this Bronze Rustic palette by Juvia's Place. You can use it as eyeshadow, bronzer, and blush. I wanted my eyeshadow look to be a little warmer, so that's why I'm adding these warmer bronzier shades. Honestly, just do what I did. Play around with them, mix them until you get your desired look. Next, I apply my House Labs concealer in these exact spots, and I apply it using this Real Techniques 242 brush, which has been a game changer, by the way. Now, I do like the Hourglass and the Too Faced one that I tried, but I reach for the House Labs one more often because it matches my skin tone the best. For contour, I love this KVD one. It comes with a contour and a bronzer. Contour is always going to be cooler and maybe even deeper than your your bronzer. Find where your natural cheekbone is and apply it below that and blend it upward. Once you're done, you should visibly see a shadow that was formed below your cheekbones, making you look more snatched. Personally, I like setting in between steps. It just helps your makeup look a lot more even and avoid any flaky, dry areas. And yes, that Charlotte Tilbury setting spray is definitely worth the hype. Now it's time to highlight with a brightening concealer. That just means highlighting your T-zone. I love this one from Too Faced. I'm using the shade Golden Beige. The coverage on this is top tier. However, I like to shear it out in the back of my hand first and then build it up in small layers to avoid any cakiness. Please do not apply it directly underneath your eye if you want to avoid heavy creasing. I also like to do what you call reverse contour, which is applying just a little bit underneath where I put that contour. While that concealer sits, I'm gonna go ahead and bronze my face using this Juvia's Place Cream Bronzer. Contrary to the contour, you wanna start right at your cheekbone, not underneath, and blend upward. I also bronze up my forehead using the semicircle method. Apply and blend the contour in a semicircle around where you put that brightening concealer. I realized I forgot to contour my jawline, so I went ahead and did that. Apply it right on your jawline and blend it downward. Do a V on my chin around where I put that brightening concealer. Using the same KVD contour, I go ahead and contour my nose. Definitely not an expert at this, but this is what I do. One thing I do know about nose contour is that you want to blend it all the way up to your brow so it doesn't stop harshly. The concealer is definitely ready to be blended out now, so I'll go ahead and do that with a beauty blender. Please tell me you see the pattern here. Anywhere you highlight using that brightening concealer, you want to make sure to define around it using contour or bronzer. If you have a liquid blush, I will also go ahead and apply it now because I definitely forgot. Then go ahead and set all of your creams in liquid. Even though I like my makeup to look glowy, I do want it to be set, so I use quite a bit of powder. I like mixing One Size Sweet Honey and Morphe Pink powder to create this perfect peachy shade that looks really good on my skin tone. When I purchased my One Size powder, they did not have the peach one yet, so I am aware that there's a peach one. However, I want to finish what I have first. Pick up the powder with a powder puff, dab up the excess on your hand, and go ahead and set that concealer. Then you want to set it again with a pressed powder. I love this one from Charlotte Tilbury. It just gives you the most perfect airbrush looking finish, like hello. Lastly, use a little bit more of that loose powder for baking. Make sure you're baking your smile lines to avoid any heavy This part's new to my routine, but I've been loving setting my face with this Bare Minerals loose powder, which is in a shade that matches my skin tone. Adds an extra layer of coverage and just overall seamlessness to with that same Juvia's Place palette that I mentioned earlier. I use this bronzing shade to bronze my face. And then I like to take a little bit of that and bronze right here on my nose. It's just so cute. For powder contour, I love this House Labs one. The formula on this is amazing. And honestly, anything House Labs that I've tried so far has been amazing. With a fluffy brush, dab off, not swipe off, dab off the excess powder from baking. If you're scared that was too much powder, this setting spray is going to be your hero. It's going to help mélanger everything together. It's going to bring back moisture to your skin. I absolutely drench my face in this. And when I say drench, I mean you should be looking like a glazed donut by the time you're done. Okay, since I forgot liquid blush, and honestly sometimes I intentionally don't use liquid blush. Instead, I use the Patrick Ta blush method, which is essentially applying your powder blush first and then going over it with a cream blush. Of course, not all cream blushes are going to work for this, so test it out on the back of your hand if you're unsure. I've used it with this Fenty blushes before, so I know it works. And of course, it would work with the Patrick Ta one. For this method, it is best to use a beauty blender. Start at the apples of your cheek and blend upward. If you're unsure where that is, just smile and right there. Then apply upward. This method also makes your overall makeup look more glowy, which is what I prefer. For highlighter, I love this lift tinted one. It gives you a nice glowing from within finish. However, I would not recommend putting this on top of powders. As you can see, it's kind of separate. I highlight again with this ColourPop one. I put it on the tip of my nose, the tiniest bit on the bridge of my nose, and also some on the inner corners of my eyes. Next, I take that same House Labs bronzer and just kind of go underneath my eyelid. Like so, like that. It just adds some more depth to your eyes. For powder highlighter, I love this Diamond Balm by Fenty. Honestly, such a gorgeous highlighter, especially at nighttime. You're gonna get so many compliments. I like to apply this on my high points, my cheeks, eyelids, forehead, chin. I just kind of have fun with this because it's so pretty. With that same NYX brow pen, I draw on some beauty marks to give my makeup a little bit of character. You can also use this to mimic freckles, which I like to do around my nose. Moving on to lips, I always start my lip combos with this Ulta Beauty lip stain. Let me tell you something, a really good, almost unique looking lip combo is never gonna come from just using 2 products. I put even more of that Benetint on the center of my bottom lip, and I promise it makes a difference. Using a brown lip liner, I slightly overline my Cupid's bow. However, for the rest of my lips, I just follow my natural lip line. Then I go in with a pinky nude shade in the center of my lips with a lipstick or these Balm stick formulas. You can definitely stop here, or if you're like me, go over it with a lip gloss or a glossy lip balm. I've honestly been getting so many compliments with this Naturium one. Oh, and make sure you're removing any excess, and boom, you're left with a gorgeous, stunning lip combo. For lashes, I start by curling it with this Shiseido lash curler. Look at that difference with just a lash curler. Then I use my favorite mascara of all time, the Lancome Idole mascara. It's so good. And boom, on est fini. This is the final look of Kelly's World Everyday Glowy Makeup Routine. Let me know what you guys think, and also let me know if you're planning to try any of these tips or makeup products that I recommended, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Last, now everybody go to breakfast.